Hello and welcome to the special interview on Revsportz. I'm Snehashish Mukherjee, and today I have been joined by someone very, very special. I think she is someone that she has played so many roles throughout his career. First as a cricketer for 6 years for Proteas Women from 2003 to 2009, played 27 international games across all formats, and then as coach, Western Province head coach, did remarkable things with the team for the last few years, and now CSA level 3 coach, and now with the senior team also. So welcome, Claire Turbulence, and I just hope I pronounce it right.
Yes, you did. You did. Thank you very much. And thank you for having me here.
Yes, yes. Okay, Claire. As I mentioned, that there is so much role that you have played so far in your career, both as a player and now as a coach also. But so, can you just share, the story behind what has gone, behind the rapid rise of Kayla Reyneke, and how proud you must be right now? You have been working with her for a long time, for a very, as a childhood coach, and now in the senior setup also.
Oh, gee whiz. Yeah, no, she's had a really good journey so far. From childhood already. I think she actually did athletics first. She threw javelin,
Mhm.
and then she found cricket when she was in primary school, so junior school. She played cricket with the boys. Her junior school teacher actually gave her the first chance to play cricket with the boys. So I mean, thank goodness for him that he introduced her to cricket. And then from there, I met her at club cricket, and then we just started our journey together from there. She was 11 years old when I met her the first time. And just growing up, she's just shown such character. And I think she's doing so well because she's got such a good character. She's a wonderful human being.
Yes, yes, absolutely. From
Yeah.
under 19 setup and now doing wonderful things for the senior team already. Both ODI and T20 format. But Claire, T20 debut, that fantastic six to win the game for the Proteas. ODI debut, last ball six, historical stuff. Uh, for a 20-year-old, that kind of a mindset, it is very rare. You find in a player. So, is this kind of a mindset that you have observed from a very early age in Reneke?
I think it's how she grew up as well. She didn't have an easy upbringing, so when things she's under pressure or something like that, she draws on that as well. And yes, in a cricket, she's brought it into a cricket. We've chatted around it as she journeys through her batting career, playing career. And I just think having that hand in hand, that she could learn those lessons through life and bring it onto the cricket field. So when she does get into those situations, she knows what to do. She just calm, she just breathes, and she knows where she needs to hit the ball.
Yes, yes, absolutely. You were there in the dressing room. Can you just share the atmosphere in the dressing room regarding those two incidents, especially the ODI one, last ball six? What was going on in the dressing room?
Yes, I think. Yeah, gee was. Obviously it was her and Toomey that were batting that last ball six, and Susie Bates was bowling, and it isn't
Yeah,
somebody Susie Bates has been playing for a very long time, so the
yeah.
experience was there too. And I just think having that partnership there with Toomey and Kayla. Toomey did speak to Kayla out in the middle, and they knew what they needed to do. Toomey knew she had to get Kayla on strike, and Kayla knew that she had to clear the boundary. So they were very clear in how they need to go about things. But it was very nervous on the side, but it was a nervous belief that we've seen it before, and she has cleared it before, and we know she's calm under pressure. So we knew that she had it, and she produced.
Yes, yes, absolutely. Excellent composer under pressure from a 20-year-old. But Kyler Reneke, a typical all-rounder of break bowler, bats right-handed in the middle, or now doing the finisher role for the Proteas. You were kind of the similar kind of a player, right hand off break and right hand batter. You used to bat in the middle order and also used to open on different occasions for Proteas. So do you somehow find I kind of yourself in Kayla Reyneke. I saw you got pretty emotional when you handed that debut T20 cap to Kayla Reyneke. So you kind of find yourself in her.
Well, you know what, Kayla's her own type of person. And we try and guide, as coaches and people that are in their lives, we try and guide them on who they are as cricketers. But when it comes to that feisty, that person that's calm under pressure, I do see a little bit of myself in Kayla, but not too much. She is her own person, but to see that coming through and how she's just grown up like that has just been fantastic. But yeah, we mold Kayla according to Kayla, you know?
Hmm. Yes, yes, absolutely. Claire, is there anything specific, routine or specific training that she goes under? Because as a finisher, it is not easy to be that kind of a consistent. I think if you see her scores in the last few games, I think it's tremendous. The way she's coming up, batting at number six, number seven, and scoring those unbeaten quick cameos, it is very useful for the team. So, is there anything special that she goes under to be that kind of consistent or something?
I think it boils down to a training. So she's very precise in her training and how she wants to go about the training sessions. So, on training day, she'll do a thing. If she's feeling a bit that she needs to work on something a little bit more, she'll stay for extras. But on match day, she has a routine every match day. She'll go into the net, hit some balls, but it's very much focusing on contact points, playing the ball late. And when she feels she's happy, then she stops. So she doesn't overtrain. So I think that's something that she's got down to a T. That when she feels she's hitting the ball nicely, she's in good positions, technically correct, then she's happy and she walks out of the net. So she knows what she wants to do and what she wants it to feel like before she goes in.
Yes, yes, absolutely, exactly. And I think whatever we have observed on television and anywhere, I think she is very clear about her role. I think the management has managed to share that what kind of role that the management needs from her, and she's very clear whatever we have seen. Okay, that is all about Kyla Reyneke. Now we'll shift the focus to the upcoming tour against upcoming series against India. That's a huge series in the context of the upcoming T20 World Cup against India. So you were there in the 2025 ODI Women's World Cup squad with the South Africa squad as assistant coach. I think that you know what kind of question I am going to asking. I think it might be very heartbreaking to see the way South Africa failed to cross the finish line. I was there at the ground. I saw that, but it still hurts. I know it still hurts, but how do you prepare for this kind of a series as a management? What is your viewpoint? And did that final loss is an extra motivation right now for your team when you are going to face India?
Yeah, I think it's definitely external motivation from the that World Cup final. And yes, you're right, it does still hurt, but
Yeah.
it's lessons that we need to take forward. So it is in the past. Coach now says it has become data. So now it is in the history, But it's taking us into a new series. We're preparing for a new World Cup. So everything that we've done up to this point, we try to tried a few things, and moving into this series, we had to now see where we are at and what we're needing to do for that bigger picture of the World Cup coming up. And I think this India series is going to be something that we really need to take into account and do well at, and see, what still needs to be done for the World Cup, or if we are in the place where we should be coming into the World Cup.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. And I think South Africa have become a World Cup to World Cup team. Whenever World Cup is there, they become one of the teams to beat the way they have performed in recent ICC tournaments. But Claire, if you see the recent performance, I personally believe that South Africa is going to be one of the favorites to win the T20 World Cup, whatever the names that we have in that team currently. But do you think the recent performance against Pakistan, against New Zealand, is there a bit of concern, especially when are going to face an Indian team which are which are comparatively a relatively more experienced compared to the squad that has been announced, if you see?
Yes, no, definitely. I mean, facing the Indian team is always something that you need to be almost extra prepared for. So you do go into a little bit more detail, if I can put it like that, because we know that the Indian team have a vast amount of batters that you need to look into. The bowling lineup as well, seam and spin, especially with the spinners. And we know that spin will dominate in the T20 World Cup or even in T20s. And that is something that us as the African team knows that we need to work on. But facing this Indian team will really put us to the test. And I do also think that it will take India also knowing where they are moving into the
Yes.
World Cup. So I think the competition now in this T20 series is going to be good for both countries.
Yeah, absolutely. An exciting series is waiting for us. And obviously, when I saw the squad of South Africa, definitely, some big names are not there. Dane van Niekerk is not there. Mazen Cap is still not there. And also, class has not been selected. So, some big names are not there, but a big opportunity for some youngsters and some players who are making a comeback also. So, let's see how it goes. Last two questions, clear. For South Africa, as I mentioned, in recent ICC tournaments, they have been super consistent the way they have performed. Unfortunately, they are yet to cross the finish line, but I'm pretty sure that good is around the corner. But Claire, fast now, Kayla Reyneke, and if you see someone like any direction, so many youngsters coming and doing the job for the senior team, they're getting adapted quickly. How do you see, the pipeline has been, the way youngsters have managed to come up to the bigger stage, and they have been playing. How you have seen this, the transition to the South Africa women's cricket?
Yes, I've actually been lucky enough to be in a coaching setup with Coach Denisha Debnarine, and she's in charge of the S under 19 and the emerging setup in South Africa, and all of her work that she does to get the young girls and the lady prepared to come up into the senior system. You're actually seeing the result of that work along with the provincial coaches in the domestic system. So the pipeline is actually, it's working nicely. It can work a little bit more smoothly to get a few more over into a position of what Kayla has shown. But the more games, the more camps, the more processes we put in place, I just feel that the pipeline will get smoother, and then you'll see more players come out that will be producing like Kayla Reyneke. Because I feel like we've got that generation all over the world right now, actually, that the players that are coming up, young players into the senior system, they kind of, they're there to do their job, and they know how to do their job. They're very clear about it. So that's what I feel that transition is going very well, is that the clarity in the pipeline moving into the senior system is quite good.
Yes, absolutely. And my last question regarding that only, that you have been associated with Western Province also. Over the years, so many players from that team has managed to come up and play for South Africa at the senior level. I'm talking about the women's cricket only. So how do you see what has gone right for Western Province also, the setup that they have managed to produce so much homegrown talent?
So we're very precise again at Western Province. What I do is I do like precise training, clear training, and it all boils down to training so we can produce when we do play matches. So when the girls have a level, I expect them to meet that level, and if they want to be a level above and make the SA side, then they need to train at a level above. So that kind of mindset, that kind of standard that we set at Western Province Cricket is what helps us produce the number of players that we do produce into the national team.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, thank you, Claire, for your time. It was brilliant to talk with you, and hopefully a fantastic series is waiting for all of us.
Yes, thank you so very much. I hope for an entertaining series ahead.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, thank you. Good luck, Claire. Good luck. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Goodbye.
Goodbye. Goodbye.